Thank you for joining us. Thanks again for joining us. On the eve of the first 100 days of the LePage administration and halfway through the first legislative session, House and Senate Democrats call on the governor and the majority party to stop the distractions and get back to the task at hand: jobs creation and economic growth. Democrats are frustrated by the extreme agenda focused on rolling back child labor laws and environmental protections. And instead of protecting Maine people, this administration is trying to balance the budget on the backs of retirees living on a fixed income. And if that isn't enough, it also goes after the most vulnerable in our community by destroying home visiting programs for first-time parents and gutting the Drugs for the Elderly program. In the past 100 days, Democrats have had to answer over and over again why this administration is focused on everything other than getting Maine people back to work. We're hearing from Mainers who can't afford the fuel needed to fill their trucks, to haul their products. We're hearing from Mainers who have to work 2 jobs and still can't make their mortgage payments. We're hearing from Mainers who have graduated from college, strapped by student debt, and now cannot find a job. Maine people are tired. They're tired of ideological rhetoric and are ready to see results come out of Augusta. We must deliver results. We stand ready to work across the aisle, and we ask the governor to stay focused.
Thank you. Maine people sent all of us to Augusta with a mandate to create jobs. And Democrats know that jobs are not created by anecdotes, by rhetoric, or by scapegoating. And no matter what this administration would lead you to believe, it is a fact that Maine has made fiscally responsible investments, with all credit rating agencies giving us strong backing. It is a fact that shovel-ready projects are ready to go all across Maine. Democrats are ready to help those people who have told us that their hubcaps and tires are damaged because of our roads. Maine people depend on their cars and rely on safe roads to get them where they need to be. Every day, we also hear from Maine people still struggling to pay bills. Every dollar makes a difference in their lives, and that's why we must invest in helping Maine families make their homes more efficient to keep more money in their pockets and create good-paying jobs. We've heard loud and clear that Maine people no longer want to send their money to foreign oil companies.
Tell them. Yeah.
Our number one priority is growing jobs and making our state a more attractive place to do business. Right now, we know that jobs around the state are being held hostage by irresponsible and misinformed rhetoric around investment. How many potholes do we have to drive over before investing in roads and bridges becomes a priority? How many businesses will leave our state because they don't have the confidence to grow their businesses here? And how long will we hold up the jobs that Maine's colleges, hospitals, and municipalities have ready to go with construction projects? Democrats want to put Maine people back to work. We are ready to work with Republicans to craft a focused bond investment package this session. And Maine people should expect us to adjourn in June with a jobs package waiting for them on the November ballot.
Who's tired of hearing the governor talk about creating jobs? Yet all we've heard during these 100 days is anti-worker rhetoric. The simple fact is, you can't be pro-jobs and anti-worker. Democrats questioned the governor's hostile approach toward Maine workers. Just last week, in the governor's radio address, he made a pitch on why businesses should relocate to New Hampshire. Talk like this will not bolster the confidence in our business community, and the total disregard and disrespect for Maine workers by dismantling the Labor Committee and removing the history of Maine Workers Bureau will also not create jobs. Democrats get it. We are pro-jobs and pro-workers. And it's time for this administration to stop instigating a division between business and employees. And instead, let's actually focus on putting Maine people back to work. We must invest in Maine's most valuable resource, our workforce. Maine workers have a national reputation for our worker productivity and strong work ethic. In this state, no company should have to relocate or open a satellite office elsewhere because we can't meet their workforce needs. Democrats know how to change us. We must end the waiting list for higher education and open the doors to the thousands of students ready to learn. No graduate should leave the state because they can't find a quality job. We know that Maine families want what's best. Parents want their children to be better educated, have more options than they did, and be prepared for the economies of the future. By making smart investments, we will give Maine workers and Maine businesses opportunities. And that is the best way to move beyond the rhetoric. Thank you.
Democrats are focused on improving Maine's economy in a way that's fair to all of Maine people. We must focus on policies that support working families and Maine businesses, not corporations from away. This administration's playbook of the labor management divide is not a reality here in Maine. Our principles and our values are based on the fact that we are one Maine, a united Maine. In Maine, our small business people are our working people. The vast majority of businesses in Maine are small businesses. Small business owners are often a staff of one. Among these Democratic lawmakers here today, over 30 of us are small business owners. We know and understand the challenges that Maine businesses face. The fact is that more than 1,000 Maine businesses surveyed by the State Chamber of Commerce said that the high cost of health care and energy were the two biggest challenges to doing business in our state. Democrats have listened. Our proposals will lower these costs through prevention, wellness incentives, cost transparency, and efficiency. These ideas will provide real relief and increase the bottom line for Maine businesses, and in turn, create more jobs in our communities. We stand here today before you focused on job growth, dedicated to fair outcomes, and firm in our commitment to Maine people.
Good job.
To demonstrate our commitment to more than just rhetoric, today we are announcing two specific Democratic initiatives to connect with businesses in Maine. First, we handed to the governor. He had a great idea by creating a business council, and we are going to see it through. Too often, we listen to voters only every 2 years. Our business council will be a sounding board to get real-time responses on what we're doing this session and how we can do better. Details will be rolling out in the coming weeks.
And secondly, Democrats will be hitting the streets for the rest of the session in our districts across Maine, visiting businesses, large and small. We want to walk a mile in their shoes, to see how the policies being discussed here in Augusta will impact their operations and meet their needs. We know that most businesses cannot take the time off to come here to Augusta, so we are going to them. We are proud to stand before you today as legislative Democrats calling for renewed focus on job creation and economic growth, and we are ready to do whatever it takes to get the job done. Thank you very much for joining us today.
We're open for questions.
So it's been 100 days. How would you characterize the relationship the Democrats have with the LePage administration at this point? Are there areas in which you are working together, and are there areas in which you basically divided and there is no room for compromise?
I'd say that we have a growing relationship with the governor. We're still getting to know each other. I'd say that so far we get along on a personal level, and that's why we're calling for this renewed focus, because this should be common ground. This shouldn't be a partisan issue as to who cares about jobs more. That's why we are standing here together to say we want to work together across the aisle and with the governor to make sure we can make progress before we adjourn in June on job creation in Maine.
Right. Yeah.
What grade would you give the governor on a scale of A through L?
Yeah, too early.
Incomplete.
Good answer.
Didn't Maine voters throw Democrats out of power because they had failed to deliver on exactly the things you're talking about now?
No, I think that we're hoping that after 100 days of this particular legislative session, with the Republicans controlling the White House and the legislature, that they might reconsider and begin to look and focus on what we have to offer. And number two, I think more importantly, what type of attitude the people have now about government that maybe they didn't have when we took our oath of office in December, from the executive branch especially.
And I would add that, yeah, we may not have won as many seats as we have in the past, but it doesn't mean we stopped caring about the things we cared about the day before Election Day. That's why we're here, because we are focused on job creation. We think that is an issue everyone in Maine cares about, and we're calling for that renewed focus so we can all leave here feeling good about meeting that goal when we adjourn in June.
Please understand, we have had, as a legislative leadership, a very good working relationship with our colleagues in the Republican Party, President of the Senate, Speaker of the House, and the majority leaders in both bodies. We want to continue to work across the aisle to build, I think, a consensus on many, many issues. The budget is a good example where we believe we can reach some consensus and basically put back the extremes that exist in the present budget. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. We'll be available afterwards. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you all.